Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita, commentaries by Swami Jyotirmayananda, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So, currently we are on chapter number 3, and in today's satsang, we are starting from Shloka number 9. So, Lord Krishna continues to guide Arjuna about the importance of karma. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samachara. Only those actions bind a person which are not performed for the sake of yajna or sacrifice for pleasing God. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform karmas without attachments and with dexterity for the sake of yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. And here Lord Krishna is very clearly guiding us that our karmas should be nishkamya or without the fruit, selfless, full of sacrifice. Those are the kind of actions that don't bind us. Worldly activities, worldly actions that we do bind us. So, moving on to shloka number 10. सह यज्ञाः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वमेष भोऽस्तिष्ठक् कामधुक्. In ancient times, Prajapati, the creator, having created yajna or sacrifice along with all beings, said, "May you prosper with the help of sacrifice. May sacrifice yield all your desires." And that is why sacrifice is also known as tap, tapasya, penance, putting in the effort. Even for worldly things, we need to put in effort. For example, qualifying for a degree, becoming a doctor, or whatever professional effort is required, we have to sacrifice to earn it. Much in the same way, God says, for divine knowledge, you have to put the sacrifice, and then when you sacrifice for each other, you prosper together. And since we live in this world, we are all interconnected. Moving on to shloka 11. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah shreyah paramavapsyatha. God says, "May you satisfy the gods by the performance of sacrifice. In turn, may the gods, thus satisfied, enhance your fulfillment. Thus assisting each other, may you attain the highest good in the form of self realization." Which means that this is a joint effort. So, for example, when we pray, we do the yagyas, then through that prayer, the rain comes, the nature continues to provide us with the sunshine and all the things that are controlled by the divine energies. So, they bless us, and we in turn do our sacrifice to um, give them our prayers. So it's a both ways we benefit. When we get the rain, we benefit, and when we pray, they benefit also, the gods. This is the deeper meaning of the shloka, that God is saying, God in the form of Lord Krishna, the one universal energy. Shloka number 12, God says, Ishtana bhogana ivo deva dasyante yagya bhavitaha tair dattana pradayemyo Yo bhungate stena eva saha. The gods, pleased by yajna, will bestow upon you the objects of your desire. Those who enjoy the objects given by the gods without offering yajna to them are thieves, which means we should always live our life in gratitude. The water, the earth, the air, the ether, and fire, all these elements that we are using are not created by us, they are given to us as a gift. So therefore we should also perform our sacrifice, and otherwise God says we are thieves. We are using these things for our benefit but without proper ownership. So when we respectfully pray and we dedicate our actions, then we are um, in accordance with the divine plan. Shloka number 13. Yagyashishtashinah santo muchyante sarvakilbishayah bhunjate tvagham papa ye panchatyam karanat. Those good men who eat only remains of what is left from the sacrifice are freed from all sins. But those evil men who prepare food only for themselves alone feast on sin. So, in other words, the deeper meaning is we should always share our food and our resources with others. Don't lead a selfish and egocentric life. That is what God is trying to guide us here, and therefore, service is paramount. Seva bhav. Moving on to Shlok 14. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavaha yagyad bhavati parjanyo yagyah karma samudbhavaha. From food are derived the bodies of beings, and from rain comes food. It is yajna that causes rain, while yajna is born of action. Yajna means penance, sacrifice. You must have seen where a lot of ghee and butter is being poured into the fire with sacred materials to please the gods. That's one kind of yajna. But yajna is of many, many kinds, of any kind of sacrifice. So here God is saying how the cycle continues. From the rain comes the crops, from the crops, the um, seeds grow, and then we eat the food, and therefore that food gives us the energy, and we are able to finally reproduce and create uh, another entity, bring another baby to this life through the annam, through the food, basically. So, therefore, this yajna is very important since it comes out of action. So, our actions determine our outcomes. Moving on to shloka number 15. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्. Know that karma proceeds from Brahma, the Vedas, and the Vedas emanate from the divine self. Therefore, the all pervading eternal Brahman is seated in Yajna. So, in other words, the essence of all creation comes through the supreme consciousness, Brahman, and that is through tapas or yajna. Also, in this creation, through the navel of Lord Vishnu emerged Brahmaji, and he also had to do tapasya or tapas, yajna. So, it's a universal concept, not just human beings, but also all other beings have to do sacrifice in order to um, go upwards and to eventually attain self realization. Shloka number 16. एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति यः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ स जीवति. One who does not follow this wheel that is set in motion by the divine self, O Arjuna, though delighting in sensual pleasures, is steeped in sinfulness and lives in vain. As we just discussed, those ungrateful people who are consuming all these resources, the oceans, the mountains, the rivers, the sunlight, all the things that are bestowed upon them without expressing gratitude, without doing their tapasya or yajna, they are living in sin. Although you can say, I haven't stolen anything, so how am I sinning? But we are, because we are enjoying all these resources that nature has provided us without giving back in return. So when we are given a gift, we are supposed to do our part to pass on that blessing to others. If we don't, according to the spiritual life, we are living our life in vain. That's a greedy, selfish life, and that's when the karmas bind us with the consequences of those actions. Shloka number 17. यस्त्ववात्मतिरेव स्यादात्मृतश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्ट अस्तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते. One who delights in the self is satisfied by the self, finds contentment in the self. There exists no action that needs to be performed. So ultimately, by doing yajna, tapasya, sacrifices, one reaches that elevated state where they go deep into their own self, and that is where the microcosm of the macrocosm resides. The God whom we are trying to find resides in our very heart. And once that self is realized, no other action needs to be performed, because now you have decoded the cosmic mystery. You have become one with the divine consciousness. Therefore, no more actions can bind you or are even needed. So, very deep shloka. As you see, first we do karma, actions, then we do karma yoga, meaning we graduate to selfless actions, and eventually we go into inaction. No more actions, because we have achieved the goal in the end. So, with this, we conclude our satsang, and we will continue with shloka number 18 in tomorrow's satsanga. Hari Om Tat Sat.